Morning, everybody. I just noticed this Max lens. It's got a scratch on it. Garbage. The thing's not even a month old and it's already scratched. Piece of junk. What I got going on today is it's actually going to be nice the next 2 or 3 days, and we're getting ready to leave here in a couple days, but we're packed, we're ready to go. The truck's ready to go, other than it needs to be washed, maybe topped off with fuel. But I think I'm going to take advantage of these warmer weather. Our crumbler that we have out there, made by Unverferth, we pull it behind the disc. Last year we had an accident with it, and it was a tree. It was a tree just jumped out of, the fence row and came in front of it, so it got bumped, and it ended up bending the frame of the wing. Well, we have the new parts. We've had the new parts for a while now, but after harvest and everything, the weather got cold and I was dealing with some other stuff. I didn't have time to mess with it. I figured I'd just deal with it in the spring. Well, it's not spring yet. It's only February, but we have some temperatures that are going to be in the mid 40s the next couple days before we leave on our trip. I think what I'm going to do is bring that crumbler up to the barn here and start disassembling it. And then if I get that far to put it back together, then I'll have to unpack a few things in the barn because the new part is like in the back corner. But I want to drag that up here, start disassembling it. In order to do that, I got to use the skid steer. So I got to take the limb saw off the skid steer and things like that. So I'm going to get that done, and then we'll hook up to that crumbler and get it moved up here. And I just realized I'm saying so a lot. Sorry. All right, got her up here. This is the wing here that kissed the tree. We were able to get it folded up, and as you can see, we ratchet strapped it together because of the fact that when it folded up, because it's so kittywampus, right here is a switch. This frame is supposed to go down and hit that switch. When it hits that switch, it triggers and lets the other wing fold up. Well, when this folded up, it just stopped because it's so bent out of proportion that it misses that switch by a mile. So I had to physically hit the hydraulic float button basically to fold it up, float, and then come in here with a pry bar and push down with this switch in order to get the thing to fold up properly. And then once it got folded up, we ratchet strapped it together and kind of went from there. So I have to get this entire wing off right here, and then we can start disassembling the frame of the wing and putting the old parts back on that needs to be put on. But as you can see what happened here, yeah. Oh well. All right, I'm gonna start working on this thing. I think it's gonna be a heavy booger, I know that. I got her almost disconnected, and I got looking. I'm having a problem with this one bolt. It's coming out, but it's coming out extremely hard. So I got looking at it, and if you look, it's not resting on anything like it's supposed to. So I'm thinking this bolt is basically what's holding it on the machine itself. So my thought process is get a loader over here, get a chain wrapped around it, lift up on it just a little bit, just to take some of the tension off, and maybe that bolt will come right out. If it doesn't, then I'm probably going to have to cut these tabs because the new wing frame has those tabs on it already, and get it off that way. But it's being problematic. It's off. And the funny thing was it was bound in there a little bit, and I just kind of gave it a little nudge with the loader, and as soon as I did the little nudge, this tab broke off, and as soon as this tab broke off, it popped right off. But it was the tab right there. It's supposed to be in there like that. And it's, if you look, it's not like the tab was cracked or broken before. It's just stress. Garbage. Oh well. We got a new one. Now I need to take all the rolling baskets off of this wing, the drag rake harrow off, that wheel assembly needs to come off. It needs to come down to just the bare frame. And then I can go dig that frame out and assemble it. And I got a feeling that this coming apart is not going to be all that easy. But we'll see. Oh, I got to show you this. So this nut right here, it's a pretty good sized nut. And the biggest wrench I have goes up to 2 inches. Just so happens that's a 2 3/16 inch nut. I have a socket right here, 2 3/16 socket, and it's even a snap-on, so it's a good socket. Got my ratchet right here, but the ratchet will not go onto the socket, and I'm like, what's going on there? So I got looking. The inside of here has been mushroomed because of the fact that we use this socket to seat bearings into wheels on this press here. And we put the socket like that, and then it presses down and pushes bearings in, which fine, works great. Problem is, it has mushroomed the end there, so now it won't fit on a socket. So now I have to take this file and file down the little mushroomed part there, just so it'll fit on the ratchet, so I can use this socket for what it's actually intended to use. It's your classic case of, you know, using a wrench as a hammer, pliers as pry bar type of scenario. Got it. Now let's see if we can get this nut off. As I said that back in my head, that didn't sound too good, did it? So as I'm taking these rolling baskets off here, they're coming off as a unit. They have these pins, as you can see right here. These pins hold them in there and allow it to pivot over the terrain of the ground. What I found when I took this one off is these pins are worn out. You see that? Right there. It's got a divot in it. It's worn on both sides. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is, I think we're going to buy new pins. It's 4 pins for this thing. And the new roll pins that hold them pins in. Another thing I noticed is, I don't know if you guys will be able to pick it up, but that wheel assembly that was coming up right there, if you look right here, it kind of looks like it's tweaked, but this frame right here is bent also. So I don't know if that whole bracket is bent, or if the bracket's fine and just the frame is bent. But I'll know that more when I take those 6 bolts off to get that bracket off of there. I kind of had to remove this rolling basket in order to get to these 2 bolts back here because the rolling basket was in the way. Now I'm this far into it, I'm like, might as well just pull this rolling basket as well while I'm right here. So I think I might do that. You just seen me ride the struggle bus there. What had happened when I picked up this end of the rolling basket, the frame shifted down because it didn't have the weight on it anymore. So now I have this problem. So now I got to pick the entire weight of the rolling basket up and manipulate the frame out from under it. And I can't do it by myself because it's extremely heavy. But I got the skid steer right here with the forks on it, so I'm gonna move my stuff here and see if I can't get it that way. We'll see. I gotta admit, I'm kind of bummed. I put you guys back down on the bucket here, and I put you in time-lapse super pursuit mode to show you me lifting the rolling basket off with the skid steer. And someone messed up. My cameraman messed up and didn't hit the time-lapse video. I hit the photo. And when I clicked the record, it actually just took a picture. It didn't actually record that. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to fire the cameraman, I guess, because he was not doing his job properly. I guess I need to find a new one. If you guys know of a good one, let me know. I just went and looked at the new one. I was under the impression that I had to pull the springs off of here and this whole mechanism here, as well as the drag bars. But all of this is on the new one already. All I got to do is pull this bolt. I got to pull 4 bolts to pull this drag bar off, and then flip this over and pull this mechanism off. And the rest of this is scrap because we've got the new one back there with all that on there. So that's actually pleases me. It's less of a headache than I thought it was going to be. But I gotta try and get those rusty nuts and bolts off of there now. So yeah, wish me luck. I got it apart. The new frame is way back there. So I think tomorrow it's supposed to be a little bit warmer tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'm gonna move this stuff out of the way, pull the new frame out, and get everything put back in here. That way I can start assembling this tomorrow. But at any rate, that's where we stand right now. So I'm gonna go home, edit this, get some dinner, call it a day. Thanks for watching.